Hello, everybody. Welcome to the virtual JBoss. Today it's BPM Day, and I'm pretty proud to welcome Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hello.
Eric already shared his screen. Yeah, it's February the 17th. Still Carnival. Happy day. Eric, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah, my name is, of course, Eric Chabel. I work in the middleware business unit as a JBoss technology evangelist. We cover the products and the integration in BPM space, and I spend most of my time nowadays working on the BRMS and the BPM Suite.
Perfect. Let's go ahead. Thanks for joining us tonight. And you have something to tell about how to hit the ground running with BPM. Tell me everything about the starter kit I need to know.
Okay. Um, what we're going to do today is we're going to go over something that I did about 4 months ago, I believe, as a webinar for Red Hat itself. You can find a recording of all that stuff online and in my blogs. But it was so popular, we decided to run this every once in a while again. So it's going to be a reoccurring sort of storyline that we follow along with the product. Because people are used to running around and playing a bit in the community. Being a JBug follower, you see a lot of the community projects. So in our case, JBPM and the Drools project with all the rules and events and stuff. And when they decide to work someplace where you're working in an enterprise environment and step over to the product side, you end up in the JBoss BRMS or BPM Suite. And it seems like they have a little bit more trouble getting started, or at least in either case, they're not really sure the steps to take. They run into a lot of information, a lot of documentation, a lot of demos and sample projects I put out there. And maybe you're just looking to evaluate the product to see if it fits your needs. And that's pretty much where this starter kit came from and what the idea is behind this. So I've been invited to talk to you here at the virtual JBug and walk you through a little bit of what this is. So let's get started. Now, the first thing we like to say is welcome aboard, and you're going to be jumping in with 2 feet. So the whole idea behind a starter kit is finding the starting line. So where do we start? And the best way to learn stuff is just to get your hands dirty, right? So let's spin something up. Let's start playing with it. Let's build something. Let's see how this works. It should be easy enough to do that. And once you've done some of this kind of stuff, the best idea I can come up with to pass along to you is how do we keep up on some of the buzz? That's the term you're going to see in the jboss.org product spaces. That is the news feed you'll find at the bottom. And this is how you can kind of keep track of what's going on, what's being produced, what's new, what's not, and tips and tricks and things like that. So the basic idea here is it's not that hard, right? The only thing you need is take it step by step, but how do you find those first steps and where do you get them, right? And my philosophy in everything I've done around the BPM Suite and this kind of a workshop or a starter kit or a demo is always keep it simple. So that's what you're going to find in almost everything you encounter. There'll be a consistent way of doing things. It'll always be the same, and it's as fast as and easiest way we can think of to get started. So step 1, here's the starting line, right? The starter kit. You have the 2 different products. We have the BRMS suite on the bottom, and we have the BPM suite on the top. Now, part of this stuff involves how to get your feet wet and which is which, and to keep it really simple, the bottom one is rules and events, and the top one is rules, events, and processes. So you see that BRMS is also a complete fit inside of the BPM suite, so it's a superset. So if we take anything you find red on these slides, at least I hope they're coming across red on your side, they will be available online, and I'll be posting a link to all this stuff. And if you're really a sharp cookie and look up here in the corner, you can follow along live because they're being hosted in the cloud on something that I use on OpenShift. But if we follow these links, if you hit any of these red links, it's going to take you right to where the starter kit has been embedded on the jboss.org BPM Suite product page. And if we scroll down here just a little bit, you'll find the BPM starter kit here. These originated on my own site when I first started publishing them and coming up with a way to tie together a lot of the work that I've already done or people in the communities have done that I've been able to acquire and merge into a whole set of demo projects and getting started guides and tips and tricks posts and things like that. So starting from top to bottom, the whole idea here is that we want to get into the JBoss BPM Suite product. We have a standard demo called the HR Employee Rewards demo that's sort of our POC, proof of concept kind of idea. It gives you a pretty good look at a lot of the components involved here. Our target audience would be developers that are evaluating some of this kind of stuff in the product, architects that have to look at something like this as a component that might work in their organization. And it's also something that's I spent quite a bit of time trying to target the business and information analysts, in the sense that there's been a lot of work that's been put into the UI and the various toolings that are integrated in the dashboard of this product. So we try to target them along the way on how to do things, how to build user task forms, how to build a process, how to use the guided rule wizards, things like that. So the getting started here takes you directly into a workshop. And the fun part about this workshop is it's in 2 phases. One is targeting a complete from ground zero to a running retail online store built around the JBoss BRMS product. And then the second part of this workshop builds the HR Employee Rewards demo using the BPM Suite. This is all from scratch, and you can follow along online. It's hosted online, or you can host it yourself on OpenShift. You see there that we have down here at the bottom workshop in the cloud. What this basically means is you can use this if you have an account on OpenShift. You can set up a PIP to host the workshop in your own instance. This allows you to work on this as you like, at your own tempo. I also host it online, so you can follow it there if you like. And in the case of the BPM Suite, we walk through the contents of what you're going to do during this workshop. So you're going to learn how to install and configure it quite easily with a pre-configured project and ready to go. Walk a little bit through the admin perspective. Take a look at the project authoring perspective, so where you get started with the project, shows you how to create one, how to create your organization. And then you're going to do your domain model. So we have to go in there and figure out what our domain, in this case the Human Resources Employee Rewards domain. We're going to model a couple of things inside of there. You're also going to see the process designer build this from scratch, so from a completely clean process all the way to a completely configured process, including user tasks and task forms. You're also going to learn how to, and watch at the end a video that shows you how to deploy the project and run it from scratch to a completely running project. So you've built everything. It should look an awful lot like what you see in the demo video. And then there's a little collection of resources here at the bottom that runs down through how to get started, and some documentation and tips and tricks link to provide you a jump to the articles that are tagged with tips and tricks. Some of the videos you can find online. There's about, I think, 34, 35 videos you can walk through. And then, again, the buzz stuff there. So that's the starter kit for the BPM Suite. And if we look at the JBoss BRMS one, this is continued to link from the original location, which was inside of my my site. And you see here that the starter kit for BRMS, it's a little bit more targeting the rules and the events. So it's the same idea. You get started. You're talking about a cool store. It's a retail store. We provide the web app front end, and it's using all the rules and events stuff that you're going to design yourself from scratch during this workshop. You see here this one includes images, so we couldn't put those on jboss.org yet. And the contents of this one involve admin perspective, project authoring again, the same stuff you're going to see in the dashboard, whether you're doing a BRMS project or a BPM project. And then we have the technical rule designer and the guided rule wizard, the designers for that, decision tables, DSLs, again the domain modeler, the process designer. In our case there we're going to use a rule flow because we're using a business rules management system. It doesn't do business processes, but it does do rule flow, so rule tasks can be tied together. And you're going to see some test scenarios and things like that. So this will also be migrated over to the BRMS product site shortly. Okay, so that's the starter kit itself. So it always seems impossible till it's done. That's Nelson Mandela. It always looks really hard until you find somebody that can lead you through it and walk you through it and discuss it a little bit with you. So the workshop we've been talking about, that's about getting hands-on. So we now go into step 2. Now, the hands-on part is kind of fun, right? So if you just click on this image here, this is the front screen to the actual workshop. You see I've hosted it in the cloud here on the BPM workshop dash on the .rhcloud.com. This workshop pretty much ties the whole thing together for BRMS and for BPM Suite, exactly as we described in the starter kits. And if you walk through this a little bit, you can see it provides sort of an agenda that I can use, or you can use, to walk through this. And I sometimes do this on other JBugs or a jug for just a couple hours in the evening. I've done half-day workshops, full-day workshops, or two-day workshops based on how much detail you want to get into with this stuff. So you can kind of see this is a rough agenda of what can be handled inside of this this workshop. The part one is a little bit of background. So if you follow this link here, it's going to take you into an introduction slideshow. So to walk you through, and I'm not going to go through all of this. Feel free to browse this online. But basically what it does is take it at a high level. It's going to walk you through what the business rules management system is in the sense of rules and events. It's going to cover complex event processing and rules. It's going to do it in a very simplistic language and a very simplistic pictures to give you an idea of how a rule engine works and those kind of details. And it's also going to bleed on over into what BPM systems are. So what is the difference between a rule system and something with processes. It's going to show you the architecture, and then it's going to bleed off into the products with a little bit of an introduction. So that's always kind of fun. So whether you need that or not is up to you, but when you're starting from scratch, that's a really nice walkthrough. The next part is inside of the starter kits. You'll also find here some links to the retail cool store that you're going to build, and then a bunch of other demos here that can be looked at. So a travel agency, tying together some enterprise content management with BPM so that you can pass documents through. And financial example, you have either a mortgage or a general loan project. Something that ties just BPM and tasks together, and something that ties integrating rules into BPM. So you see those are a little bit smaller ones, but they're working on a specific problem or looking at a specific issue that you're interested in. And if you click on these, it'll bounce you right through to the actual project itself. And if you read the README here at the bottom, it'll walk you hand in hand. These things have been used by quite a few people for quite a long time now. And the setup is about as easy as we can get it. If you're going to run it locally, just download them. You add the projects into the installs directory here. A very structured way of working. Everything's the same on all these demos, and you're either looking for a Windows machine, the init bat file, or a Unix system. I don't care what Unix you're running, whether it's Mac, Linux, or whatever. You can run the init sh, and that's it. Once you hit that, you'll see it run through the installer, do everything for you completely for automated, and it provides a link to log in once you start it up. Passwords are here. There's a couple other options if you're a little bit more advanced. We'll get those in a minute. You can jump into a BPM Pass instance. You can load all this thing up into the cloud, or you can generate your own Docker image if you're interested in that. Usually provide some details on how to run the demo if there's a specific use case that involves data and certain paths within the process that's being dealt with. And you'll find some supporting articles, and if you're lucky, video along with that, and some links to that kind of stuff here at the bottom with images about what the projects do. So that's a little bit of what these demos are. So it's getting you started and getting you hands-on with a complete walkthrough, often with video showing you what it looks like and how it works. So you can get a real good feel in a short amount of time of what you're capable of doing with the JBoss Business Rules Management System or the JBoss BPM Suite. So the next part of it getting hands-on here is that you actually do the workshops. And here you see we do the retail with the BRMS. And you also have the BPM Suite, the one about the HR Employee Rewards Program. If we hit that link, it's going to start you, if you do absolutely nothing at all, and you just jump into this, it's going to start completely from scratch. And you'll notice that we often have one of these overview kind of architectural pictures that shows all the various elements, such as, the rule authoring tooling, the process modeling tools, the data modeling. As we deal with those in each one of the labs, and I split it up into labs, so it's lab 11, lab 12. Each one deals with one specific aspect of the project. And for example, when we're using the data modeling one, you'll see that it'll outline this with a circle so you know what we're dealing with and kind of walk through the architecture as you're examining this stuff. Right here you see if you're, and you'll notice it's all about the product. So right now it's about the 603 released version. It's an installer jar. You need to get that from the customer portal. The download and unzip is of the project. This is just an empty project, so we're going to just install and put no demo project inside there at all. And then we have the init sh or bat, and they're ready to go. Start the server. That's all it takes. One thing I allow people to do, and I'll touch on this just a little bit, so I'm going to glance over this kind of quick right here because I'm going to do a little bit of a demo and show you this later. But for people that have any troubles on their machines, there's always people that show up to these labs or maybe bring their laptop along to a jug evening, and you might have Windows that's or some kind of system that's completely secured down by your employer. Maybe you work for the government, not allowed to install anything. This happens quite a bit, or you have a little bit of trouble with ports or firewalls or whatever the settings are. Just don't worry about it. If you have a bronze account on OpenShift, we can spin one up. You'll notice this button is clickable on most of the installations. When you hit it, it's going to spin up into the thing. You select a medium gear, and you have yourself an online installation ready to go. But again, I will come back to this in a second. I'm not going to skip it. I'm just passing over it for now. So if you've done the first step that it says, these are the screens you're going to see. So I tried to show you exactly what the deal is with it's a little bit bigger. You can see what the install looks like. The standalone configuration is talked about a little bit because there are some modifications in there. So I'll walk you through a little bit of that. We look at the user configuration, how that's done. These are aspects that people are trying to figure out how that works. So what kind of users are available? How do I configure them? What do I need? Here's the passwords and stuff we have for you when you're done. Once you've started it up, you click on that link and away you go. And this is what you should see. That's basically what every single lab is going to look like. So it'll tell you some stuff to do, and when you get to the end, this is what your desktop should look like, right? When you log in, there's nothing going on, right? Your brand new system ready to go with the user we promised you. And then at the end, I have questions, because maybe in the lab you want to ask me some questions, and then you'll get some references to this stuff and how to find some more information about this stuff. And then it'll go on to the next lab, and if you hover here on this one, this is lab 12, and off we go into creating a new project. So that's the way those things work. So that's basically how you get hands-on really fast with this stuff. You'll also notice when you run through those things that if you're evaluating, maybe you don't want to go through 10 or 11 labs and build it all from scratch yourself. Maybe you believe us that some of this stuff works, but you'd like to see a working example. I do have one slide in there that shows you how to import the completed project. It's like the cheat sheet. It's not for the people that want to actually get hands-on with everything, but it does allow you to follow the lab, set it up, and then suck in the completed project and take a look at it. Maybe you get stuck on something and you want to look at a completed version, you can do that too. So that's what that's about. So the second part of getting hands-on, which I sort of introduced a little bit, but now I'm kind of going to spin back around on. This is called the one-click install of BPM Pass. You know, there's a BPM Pass and a BRMS Pass. Now, both of these things are alpha things that you can get online on OpenShift. They do require medium or large gears depending upon what you're doing with them. That means you need, as noted at the bottom there, a bronze account. So when you sign up for your account, the free account on OpenShift Online is 3 gears. That's all you get, and only small ones. So this, if you're lucky, you might be able to install it, but once you start using it, it will crash because it'll fill up. The bronze account means you need to attach a credit card to it, and you will pay for the medium gears, depending upon what you use. Take a look at the pricing and stuff. It's not that much, but do take a look. It's not free. So if you're logged in already and have an account in the same browser, and I'm not sure whether I am or not, so either it's going to ask me to log in or we're going to go straight into the page when I hit this, because in every project that you see this button, you can do this. And in this case, I need to log in. I think it's that one. It counts because I demoed quite a bit of stuff. They're nice to me. So if I throw this out now because we're logged in and go back here and hit this, you will see that he jumps right into making an application. I've preloaded whatever demo project name you have. The only thing we're looking for here now is a medium gear. This is something you configure in your account. You can also have large gears. You note that I already have an existing account that has a domain, so my domain is on the, and it's automatically piped everything in here, and I can hit create application, and away it goes. Let me think here. We might as well go ahead and do this, I guess. It's going to take quite a bit, so what I kind of wanted to do was, believe me, this does work when it gets all done. I'll go ahead and kick this off, but we're going to jump over into something else to look at one that's already existing, and we'll come back and see what this pops up with. Okay, so this is going to run a little while. It really depends. Right here, we're choosing to do the East Coast data center. You'll note here that there's also Europe and also in Asia. Depending upon capacity and what time people are awake. Now, we're in the evening time in Europe, so using the East Coast means it's around, it's in the afternoon. Could be a little busy. This could take a little bit. But if we go back to, and I'll give you a little bit of a trick here on the workshop. So you remember this workshop, right? If we walk all the way here to the end of this, you're going to note that it has this here, right? And that's it. There's nowhere else to go. Well, this is a little secret between you and me, that I had a workshop. It looks exactly the same, or almost the same. Same stuff. But there's a page here at the end that's a little bit more interesting, and that's this one. And what I've done, and I'll ask you to be nice when you play with this stuff, otherwise I have to restart it all. But what I've done is I've created 10 instances, and they're online all the time. And if we take one of these, open it in a new tab, and you'll see here that we now have in the BPM Pass 2, and all the passwords and usernames are the same. It's JBoss BPM Suite. So we can log into this. This is for you guys that show up at my workshops and are going to play around a bit and don't want to install or cannot install locally. What you're getting here is this user configured to do everything he needs to do for this, and we can go into the administration, and this I show everybody, because in here, if there's anything in here, that means somebody's been using it and playing around with it. So there's no guarantees while you're working with it that someone might come along and destroy the work you were doing. So if you're going to do this, I suggest you do this as I explained in your own account with the bronze. Take it seriously, talk to your boss, get a little bit of an expense account for that. It's not that much money. And you can run this stuff fine. Otherwise, the chances are good that this might get reset or broken or whatever. And if you're really hung out to dry, feel free to contact me. And for a very short amount of time, I would make one for you that nobody will stomp on if you really need to evaluate something. I don't mind doing that. So I show this because if there's anything in here, then you can delete it and stuff here in the repository editor and clean it up before you go in here and you make yourself an organizational unit and start importing stuff like you normally would want to do. So HR. And then we'd want to clone in a repository and reward. Select our HR. And I actually haven't actually gone in and like saved special stuff. So you're seeing this, how easy this is. I mean, really from the way you normally would do it. So we go in here and I seem to have removed the cheat sheet. Haha, I took it out. No worries. We're going to go over to where the cheat sheet would normally point, and that's at the Demo Central, and then we're looking for a repo. So the rewards repo and S. This is what we're looking for. All I'm doing is putting in an existing repo that I want to clone into this. So it's going to make a copy in here. And if you run through all these labs, this is what it's going to do for you. You see here the rewards is in here. So if we look at the repositories, you see rewards is already here. If you come into one of these and it's got something in here, you can just hit the delete and it'll disappear, right? But we're interested in the rewards, so let's go over to the project authoring. And you see how fast and easy this is to get started. Go down here into the project structure until you find the various artifacts where they're hosted at. And there you go. Close this up, and there's our process. Now, the first time you start this up using a cloud instance, this takes a little bit of WAR loading and stuff in the interface, and we're talking about quite a distance to the between here and the East Coast. So depending upon, if you're in Asia and nobody's awake on the East Coast, then you're good to go. It usually goes quite quick. If I'm on the East Coast itself, this flies. Here we go. So there you go. Here's the process designer. You can see the forms that we've got developed for this stuff. But this is all stuff you're going to build from scratch. This is all stuff that is covered in the workshop and not really part of this discussion, but I just wanted to show you this a little bit. Go back here. So that's a little bit of the trick of using this stuff. I tend to keep this out, and just ping me if any one of these happens to be hosed. Do be aware something that's not been touched for a long time will be put into an idle state. So the first time you start it up, it's going to take just a wee bit of time to get going. I believe I keep 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 hosted on the East Coast, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are hosted on the European one in Ireland. So depending upon where you are, there's another tip and a secret from me. You can pick one that's close to home. Okay, so that's the one there. Let's see where the one is that we were trying to set up and see how that went. Where did we lose that thing? Here it is. So the one we started up, it's ready to go. This is what's going to happen after you click that button. He's provided you with the password. So this is a BRMS one, by the way. So this is a business rules one. You continue to the overview page. This is what it looks like. Here it started. If this is idle, that'll take a little bit for the stuff to spin up. We jump over here into the instance itself, and it's going to look an awful lot like, open the Business Central, it's going to look an awful lot like what we just did. JBoss BRMS. I believe it is an empty one, just like the other one. You notice when it's a completely fresh, clean install like this, the ones I just played with and showed you from the BPM past, those have been around a while, so I've turned this stuff off. But these are help screens and the help information about how the various aspects of the product work. I end up closing that if we go to administration. See, they pop up all the time. And you can tell here this is BRMS because it has no BPM human task stuff or process instances stuff here at the top. So here's a completely clean one ready to go for your retail part. Couldn't close that. So it's good to see all that stuff works. So those are the one-click install things that happen with this stuff. So remember the bronze account. You can install the stuff yourself and play. Really handy if you don't want to put stuff locally on your computer. And step 3, the final part. What we're going to talk about here is keeping up with the buzz. There's a link here behind this buzz. If you hit that, it's going to take you over to the page where the actual thing itself is. And what we have here is the bottom of the product page where you'll see a feed of all the information related to BPM. And we can do the same thing here for the BRMS product. Just go to the BRMS product page. There'll be a buzz here at the bottom too. Some of the stuff overlaps because I'm talking about rules events and processes at a lot of these events. But this will keep you up quite good on that stuff. One other thing I wanted to put you in touch with that is a little bit more comprehensive is another place where all of our stuff is fed into here. As you can see, that's me right there. These are all the feeds related to the various aspects you hear JBoss data virtualization. A lot of project stuff is also mixed in here, but you're seeing more and more of the products being pushed inside of here. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the walkthrough that we have here for the starter kit. You'll note that we have links here in the reference page here for the starter kit for BPM, for BRMS, and for the various buzzes, and also for the various cartridges that are available. So it's people are kind of liking the ideas of being able to spin this stuff up. So for example, if I wanted to do the travel agency one, you go down here to the bottom, we have this right here, this button, and if I hit this, what's going to happen is it's going to take me straight over and put the travel agency together. I pick the medium gear and off we go. I have not only an install, but I also have the travel agency online, the complete demo. This has already been put in here, so we can go over here and spin this baby up and see what the deal is. Give you a good look at a completely filled project application around BPM and a travel agency. This is probably one of the more extensive ones that we got going. Fit the screen a little bit better. So if we go into the project authoring, you're going to find that it's going to load up here in a second. But we have the main process and 2 sub-processes involved here. We have a couple of technical rules. We have the various forms that are used to approve the travel requests that we're putting in. We have a, he's busy loading here. Give him a chance to get his thing done. We have guided rules in here. We have decision tables in here. We have test scenarios in here you can look at. So this is a really good complicated, a good realistic look at what's going on. If we take the main process, you're going to see here that this one is involved with submitting a booking. So you're looking to travel someplace, a start destination, an end destination, some dates, and your name. And what he's going to do is he's going to use, when you submit that through a form that's available, it's going to look up the hotel and the flight through a web service. So simulating an external service. It's an actual deployed web service. And he's going to go in here and he's going to hit this calculate price, which is a subflow. He's going to drop down into that. And what we have in here is some of the rules around determining the pricing and the discounting. Again, we're running this in the cloud here, so we're dealing with a little bit more lag than you would locally. But it's pretty responsive. I'm not disappointed. He's going to come in here, and what he's going to do is either going to reject it outright, or he's going to apply the discounts and calculate the total. Once he's done that, he goes back into the main flow, which is here, and he does a check to see whether it's required to be reviewed. There's a threshold on the amount of money, so if you have a lot of people traveling, like 6, 7 people, you're going to go over a threshold, and it's going to look for a manager price review here. That's going to say, hey, you need to validate this and maybe get a group discount or something. Then you'll push it over here to the employee booking. You'll note that the users that are configured have the ability to be a reviewer for this one or an employee booking for this one. I always use the main admin user to have all the roles necessary to do everything in the project that demos and lets you play around a little bit nicer. When you hit these, they'll pop up with forms that collected all the data together, just like a travel agency, so they're showing not just the to and from destinations, but they're going to run through and show you all the lovely collected web service information about the flights and the hotels. Once you approve that, it's going to ask you for credit card information. When you go in here, it's going to go into book holiday with that credit card information you submitted, and that's this one here. And we're looking in this this demo at this point in time to show compensation, so I'll show rollbacking once something's happened in a BPM process that has to be undone. So what you have here are the flight and the hotels get booked with an external web service. He tries to charge the credit card. We have something in there that if a credit card starts with a 1, 2, 3, 4, then he's going to trigger compensation, which means he's going to go into this path, otherwise it's going to complete correctly and your flight's booked. And he's going to send an email saying your flight's ready to go, here's your tickets and stuff. If that goes wrong, we detect a fraudulent credit card, it's going to trigger through this signal here, here, and here to cancel the flight booking and cancel the hotel booking. Right? So that was the idea behind this. And there's various tools and dashboard monitoring and stuff, but this is all part of the evaluation process. So here you see that's how the whole project gets put online for you. You don't have to build it from scratch. And you can see with these starter kits, this is kind of handy to be able to play with some of this kind of stuff. So that was a little bit of the idea of going to this listing of the different cartridges. So here we have the travel agency. Here's a generic loan one. Here's a mortgage demo. Here's a customer evaluation one. This is a straight-through process. It just ties rules together with a BPM, simulating just simulating a process that has nothing to do with human interaction. The rewards one you're going to build yourself or cheat and install here and play with. You also have a cool store, which is a rules-based with a web front end. You also have the 2 cartridges that are being used in the workshop that just set up an empty installation of BRMS or the BPM in the cloud.
It's actually the JBoss Demo Central, right? So github.com/JBoss Demo Central will guide you there.
Yep, exactly. And it's also linked in the project here in the references, so, or in the presentation, I mean. And that brings us to the end here. I didn't fill up the whole hour. This is a pretty quick run through. I have no problems giving your time back if you have no questions, but most of this has been so streamlined that it's pretty solid front to back and how to use this stuff. So I would suggest if you're at all interested in looking to do anything with this stuff, start with the BPM starter kit and walk through the workshop a little bit and play with some of the projects or the various components that are involved, and see what you think. And feel free to shoot me something online. I'm very easy to find. There's also a link to my Twitter account there. You can also ping me on there. And let's see if you guys have any questions for me.
And not at the moment. I've seen nothing on IRC and even on Twitter, nothing came up. So I'm just impressed, Eric. I mean, that is a hell of a lot of demos that are put out there, and you're constantly improving them, right?
Yeah. I do the best I can, and I must say, I mean, like the travel agency one was done by a couple of together with me, but I mean, they did the brunt of the work, and you'll find their names in the credits there on these things. An SA in North America did the Cool Store one originally. We worked together to put that into the form that you see them now, that makes it very easy and consumable and reusable for everybody. The most important factor on those demos is they just have to be repeatable within minutes, you know, because used to be a solutions architect myself, and standing up in front of somebody and when something dies, and even the work you and I do now where you speak in front of conferences and stuff, I have absolutely no fear to walk up and challenge you to have me do any of my demos, all 35 of them or 40 of them, and I'll spin them all up within minutes.
As long as you have Wi-Fi and internet access, right?
Well, most of mine don't need that, but.
So besides running them on OpenShift, you actually can also run them on your local machine, right?
Yeah.
This is still all covered by the startup guides.
If you want to see us hanging it all the way out, we did this also in Devox, and it's been recorded on parlays and stuff. I did a whole bunch of BPM and rules and other JBoss stuff for 3 hours on a Mastering XPath was the title of the session, and that was hanging it way out there because that was no safety net, and I was doing it all live online. Very fun.
Yeah, you have a bunch of experience already. Okay, Eric, are you ready to share some new future outsides? What are you working on right now?
What am I working on right now? I'm going to do a webinar around, I mean, I kind of lifted the covers already on that travel agency one. That one's getting to be quite extensive. I really like that it's got the various phases of booking and including credit card and rollback stuff. We're looking to do some interesting stuff behind the scenes with some other product integrations to, for example, tie in virtual data, to do some stuff with Fuse integration, stuff like that. So kind of depends upon the timing coming up and some of the planning we're doing. But if you keep your eyes open in the next couple of months, we're going to do some pretty fun stuff in that area. Another part I'm working on is, it's not tied into this one, but it's in the same theme. We're working, I got something from a North America SA around baggage problems. So for example, when you land somewhere and your baggage is missing, so we're using BRMS to put together something where you can trace and deliver the baggage to the right person, to the right house, and that kind of stuff.
I'm curious to see that implemented somewhere. Okay, what's the best place to track you down? It's shabelle.org, right? This is our central website.
I would pretty much say Google my name and you'll find me. Most people do. I get quite a few pings, questions, and Twitters, and my email address is out there probably too somewhere. And on my site is also a contact form, and you can ping Marcus. You can. It's not hard.
We're all here, right?
Yeah.
What's the next chance to catch you live and in action and on stage somewhere?
Ooh, the next thing I'm doing is the 4th and the 5th of March. I'm going to be in Glasgow and Edinburgh at the JBugs there, and the Glasgow is the first one ever, so I get to like open that JBug. That's pretty cool. Also doing some partner workshops around the workshop I kind of showed a little bit here, but I'm going to actually run through it with them and have them build stuff. And after that, I'm doing a Nordics tour, I think a week after that, around the 20th. So I'll be in Copenhagen and Aarhus.
There's plenty of opportunities to catch up, and I badly need to get you over here for Oktoberfest again, so that will work. Right, so.
We're recovering from
Eric, thanks for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I hope to welcome you soonish again. Whenever you have something new and cool to show, especially integration technologies, would be a blast to see them integrated into the travel agency demo. And yeah, I hope to meet you soonish in person again. We actually didn't made it in Westford, right? So
No, you hid in the room. You were scared of me.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the new guy, right? Yeah. What did they call me at my last company? They called me the dinosaur, I guess. That's
Oh
pretty much
my.
what you are, right? So,
You're the young whippersnapper now.
yeah, kind of. Eric, take care. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining our VJ Box session tonight, and everybody else, thanks for viewing, and see you soonish here again. Bye.